Hello, this is Julian, and in this video we are going to run a Cardano node. If you have already checked the previous video, we showed how to install and configure the Cardano node, and in this part we will show you how to start the Cardano node, before that how to configure it, and then we will sync the Cardano node. So this will be a short video because main work is already done. We just have to assemble some commands and then we will run the Cardano node, and then we have to wait about 1 day until the node is fully synced. So first thing is to get the official Cardano documentation. You can find it on developers.cardano.org. Make sure to use official resources, and yeah, let's check it out. Our starting position, for those who did not see our first part, we have our Linux operating system here. We have installed our Cardano node here. So if we run Cardano node version, we see our version, and if we run Cardano CLI minus version, we see our version. So you should be able to execute both of these two commands, and if you have problems, so if these don't show the correct versions, if you get an error message like command not known or unknown command, something like that, just make sure to watch our previous part. And yeah, so we will continue with the documentation and check out what we have to do. So how to run a Cardano node. First of all, we have several testnets. So we have the testnet and we have the mainnet, which is not a testnet. So we have different networks and we have the testnet and the mainnet. And we want to run a mainnet node. So a node that is syncing that complete mainnet blockchain. So what do we have to do? We have to go down to the mainnet production section and copy those commands. So you copy the top right and paste it here, but we don't paste it anywhere. We make sure we are in the home directory, and what I prefer to do is to create a folder with the node name. So for example, so you can either create it in the Cardano source folder, just one cut on this side. I want to emphasize that I'm involved in this Cardano based video game, Cardano based NFT collection, and if you have not already bought one of these, make sure to get one. The goal is to sell off all of them and to build this Cardano based video game. The cool thing is that the community will have the possibility to influence the output of the video game. So check out the website and get one of them. So let's continue with the tutorial. Is to create a folder with the node name. So for example, so you can either create it in the Cardano source folder, here, somewhere here, or you can create it here. We will just run it here. So relay 1, for example. Why am I calling it relay 1? And here we have to jump over to this slide here. We have installed a Cardano node. And most of you who are installing a Cardano node, it's because they want to create a stake pool. So we, in the last video, created this Cardano node. Now in this video, we are about to configure and run the Cardano node. And in the next part, the Cardano node that we have created will be part of a stake pool. And a stake pool consists of server or multiple nodes, which means we will have to set up 2 or 3 of them, or even 4 or more. So that's why we will create a relay. So in this example, a stake pool consists of 2 relay nodes and 1 block producing nodes. All of them are configured basically the same, but at the end, when building the stake pool, we have some variations here. But basically, these are just 3 normal Cardano nodes. So here we assume that this node that we are installing will be one of the relay nodes. So I will create a directory relay1. And for if later on we set up as another server, we will create the folder relay2 or block producer. So you're free here to choose whatever you want, but just for a better overview, I will rename it, or I will name it relay1, create it, jump into it, and execute this command. So we will download these configuration files, copy and paste. And also here, make sure only to download config files from official Cardano resources. So what we have here is are these files. And these are the files we need to run the server with. So for example, if we run the topology file, we see the servers our node is going to connect. So later on, if you have a stake pool, you will have server relays to connect to. And they are basically exchanging the blockchain information. And we will get all transactions from this one. And as soon as we have all information like we will be fully synced, with 100%. So we will go back. And now the next step is to run the Cardano node. So for running the Cardano node, we have to execute this command, Cardano node run, and provide those files that we have just downloaded. So we will go through them step by step. We will have the mainnet topology file. We have the path to the database. This will be created on the fly. Then the socket path. This is in this database directory. We will have our host address, and we will have the port we're going to use and the configuration file. So now, if you have noticed, the files are named a bit different. So we have the topology, and here it's called mainnet topology, or here mainnet topology. Same with config here, and we have the mainnet config here. So if we run the command like it is, we will have the problem that it will not find the files, so we have to rename them. What we're going to do is I will copy the file, or I will copy the statements, go into an editor and adjust it the way I need it. So you will, depending on how you set up your directory structure, you have to adjust it the same way. So I will have, since I have the directory in the home directory, home relay1. So I have the feeling I misclicked something, but it looks okay. So that's what I have to do for every path here, because I want everything to be in the home directory in my relay1 folder. So, and here, this folder he will create in our relay directory. Then path to DB, correct, and then path here to the minute, and then we have to rename the files. So the files we downloaded are named topology.json, so we will remove the mainnet. And in case it's different for you when you, for the time you are downloading it, just rename it as it's recommended in the documentation. So then this is correct, and mainnet will be removed here as well. And then let's get to the host address. So what we are going to paste here theoretically is our IP address. So this should be the public, or can be the public IP address, for example, 23. For our needs, we can put the loop, the loopback address, our local host, because we don't have other nodes talking to us. So if we want to be reachable, so other node can directly connect to our node, we have to use a public IP address or a host name. In our case, since we only run locally, we can just take the local host or this. So this is the local host. It's the same as typing localhost. And then we will leave the port. And here important, if you have multiple nodes running on one server, you will have to adjust this. So if you have relay 1 also on the same server and relay 2 also on the same server, you can make relay 1 with 1 and relay 2 with 2. But this is just in case you have multiple servers on one server. But I recommend to host all of your nodes on one dedicated server. So that's what we have now. Let's double check everything. I will clear. Let's check what we have here. We have these files and we want to create or paste the comment and run the node. So before we are going to run the node, there's something I really like to do and I appreciate you to use it. So in this first section, when installing the dependencies, we installed Tmux. This is a session tool which enables us to have sessions in the background, and if we have a running session, so if we have the node running and we close the shell, the session will still be active. So the node will still be running. Everything that is executed will stay the same. So what I like to do is just to type tmux, and this will create this session for you. So even now, if you close the session, you will still be at the same spot. So for example, here, if you type a command or if you have a command running, hello, and then if we go out of the session, so we close the shell, and then if we want to enter it again, we will still be in the same session. So you see here. So what I prefer here is, but that's your taste, I always have it split here. And so here I run my commands, for example, and on the left side, I check the server status, for example, CPU and RAM. So if I run the command, so let's copy it first, copy the commands and paste it here. And let's see if we get an error. Okay, it works until now. And it can be that it works for 2-3 minutes and then everything stops. Then you have to try to find out what the reason is. Sometimes you have the error message here. But for now, I didn't see any warning. I didn't see any error message. So what is happening at the moment? Right now, our server, that's this guy on the left, we went ahead and configured and ran the node. So now this server is getting all transactions from the relay we saw in the topology file. So we saw this relay from IOHK, and this is a fully synced relay with all transactions of the Cardano blockchain. And we are connecting to this guy and getting all of those transactions for us. So this means we are syncing the blockchain. We are now syncing the blockchain of this node, of this single node. And this might take up to 24 hours. To be honest, sometimes it takes even 3 days, 4 days, even sometimes 5 days. So it also depends on the server. Here, I really recommend at least 32 gigabyte of RAM, and yeah, I think 1 terabyte of free disk, because we download the whole blockchain, and the blockchain also increases day by day. And what you can do as well, so after you have fully synced and you are with a hyperscaler, you can downgrade the server again. So for syncing, it would make sense to scale the server and then to resize it. But yeah, so what we have to do now is just to wait 2-3 days until this server is completely synced. And let's check what the documentary has left for us. We have run this command, we have executed that, and the node is running. And then let's see, here he is explaining the command step by step. And that's what we also discussed. We use that, the loopback address, and yeah, so let's see what we have. Yeah, so basically we covered everything, and yeah, here they also state syncing the blockchain from zero can take a while. Please be patient. If you want to stop syncing, you can just do so by pressing Ctrl C. And yeah, so after that, we can query the blockchain with this command. This will be then the part in the next video when we try to communicate with the blockchain. Anyways, as soon as you have reached a certain limit, now it will not work probably, but as soon as you have reached a certain limit, a certain percentage, you will be able to execute this command. Here in the testnet, in the mainnet, you replace this with the mainnet command, and then you will be able to show how much progress you made. And then you will see at the end, from 70-80%, it will get lower and slower, because also the blockchain grew at that moment. And to understand here as well, you sync each transaction or every transaction that has ever happened. So for example, 3 years ago, someone bought ADA on exchange. This single transaction will also be synced onto your node. So basically everything. And yeah, so this of course will take a while. And yeah, but we are done. So if it's syncing, if it's running, it's still running here, and we are in this slot, then we just wait. And here I will show you why I am using Tmux. Here we can use the command top or htop to see the the status of the machine. So we see we have 8 cores, and our memory from 32 gigabytes is not really, used to be barely use 1 gigabyte, but this might change. So you see CPU is used quite a bit, and yeah, so I think we will have we have a very good setup for syncing. And now if we go back with string B, so just Google and you will find the documentation for Tmux. We can now close this session. We can do whatever we want. And for example, if tomorrow you come back, you enter your Tmux and you type Tmux A, this is basically the first session, you will get back to here. Yeah, so that's it. We have in the previous video installed Cardano Node. Now we have configured and run it. And in the next step, or in one of the next steps, we have to create the stake pool. We will also create some videos where we show you how to create transactions, send ADA, and so on. And yeah, so that will be only if the Cardano node is fully synced. So that was it from my side. I hope you liked the video. Also very important, if you have feedback to the video, if you have any questions as well, type it in the comments and we will try to help you out here. That's it. Bye.